It's been long awaited. A trip this year that I was super excited about. The West Coast Championship.
We're already on the right track.
Yeah, man! What up, Koo?
What up? Kicking sports already? What happening?
What happening? Got Yak? Yak's. Oh, who's this? Oh, dang.
I revisited many different locations while I was there during practice and different tackle shops while I was there as well. I also created memories with buddies that created friendships over the years of kayak bass fishing this year and the tail end of this past year. And we all shared an Airbnb and it was super, super fun. But to my surprise, the fishing wasn't fun at all. These fish were definitely hard to pattern. The fishing was so brutal, I just didn't know what to do, so I launched at 5 or 6 different launch ramps all around the whole entire lake, from Redbud Arm to Rattlesnake Arm to the northern side of the lake, and I could not get the bites that I needed for the tournament. So of course during the tournament I spun out and I ran so much water, I burned up batteries. I had to end my days kind of short on day one. I had one fish though that blew up on the horny toad. Check this out.
Guys, let's go, baby.
During practice, I had a few blowups that kind of led me to an uncomfortable state during the tournament. And that was because I was fishing so fast and I was getting very few bites, but something in my head told me, keep on doing it, you'll get 5. It'll all work out in the end during the tournament. And that was far from the truth. The few bites that I did get were from a frog, an underspin, which I caught a decent bass on the underspin during practice, and I caught a decent bass on the horny toad as well during practice. But I received very few bites during the tournament practice day, and that's what led to the spiral downhill of my tournament results. So day one, caught one fish, burned up the whole battery because I panicked and I ran too much water. I ran too many spots during day one. And so day two, I believe I was somewhere middle of the pack or the bottom of the pack with one fish. So day two was just fresh. So I decided to start out fresh, go over to County Park, see if I could target more fish, fishing as fast as I was, using the horny toad and the underspin primarily over at County Park with more grass there. And that was the worst decision I could have made. Because when I got there, I had fished there during practice and I got 0 bites there. So I launched there during the tournament and I was fishing water that I should have eliminated during my decision during the tournament. I just psyched myself out during the tournament. So day one, ran out of battery. I was making long runs. I was going from the north end of the lake to the south end of the lake, and it was just a horrible decision, so I had to paddle back. Day two, I ended up fishing waters that I should have eliminated during practice that I thought I eliminated during practice, but from some crazy angle, I was thinking maybe because there's more grass up north, I can get more bites than I did when I was fishing on my spots during day one in the Narrows, where there was limited grass mats and submerged grass where I got bites. So I tried to duplicate that pattern or replicate that pattern over northern side of the lake over at County Park, but that wasn't the deal. Got one bite the whole entire day over at County Park, packed it up, and went over to the house with the guys. And the worst part of it is I have to fish day 3 because there's a trail series and it's a brand new day. So I didn't know what I was thinking, but I went into day 3. I launched out of Rattlesnake and I fished the same exact stuff. You know, for a little while I was fishing a drop shot and trying to fish offshore structure during low light periods. But then I took off and I started just throwing the same stuff. I was throwing the horny toad or the zoom frog and the underspin with 0 bites. I had maybe 1 bite within a 4 or 5 hour period. And what led me to rethink about how I approach this tournament is I circled back to some offshore spots during the last few hours of day 3 and caught a few fish on the drop shot offshore. And I caught 3. 1 was denied because my identifier was hidden, but that's irrelevant. 3 fish didn't go too far during day 3. Actually, a lot of people caught limits in the trail event during day 3, upwards to, I believe, 88 inches to 89 inches. And so I thought to myself after this trip, you know, the West Coast Championship was a huge bust for me. And the next few weeks was actually pretty rough for me because, believe it or not, I had high expectations for myself to finish higher because it was the West Coast Championship at a lake that I learned bass fishing on. Back in 2008, as some people may know, I started out at a club with the Sonoma County Bellboat Bass Club about an hour and a half away from Clear Lake, or an hour and 15 minutes to the closest launch ramp from Santa Rosa. And I learned almost everything that I know, almost half of the things that I know now. High expectations weren't met, of course. And I hit an ultimate low these past few weeks, so I'm definitely trying to climb my way back up to boost my confidence in terms of just fishing bigger lakes or just fishing in general. The biggest lesson I learned from this tournament is that I'm human, and humans make mistakes. We're not computers or robots. We just make mistakes and we learn from them, and that's the beauty of it. Even though I invested so much time and money into the West Coast Championship and it was a complete bust, I learned a valuable lesson. And I learned a few valuable lessons. And one is that we're human. It's okay, we can make mistakes, but it's important to lower our expectations, believe in ourselves, but lower our expectations, because eventually we're gonna hit a bump in the road. And a small little bump in the road, because of your high expectations, that bump could be huge and it could be devastating. And so devastating, I decided to wait 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks after the West Coast Championship to record this recap right now. Okay, let's just go back. I'm getting kind of emotional here. Lessons learned. We're all human. I'm human. I can make mistakes and I can learn from them. Lesson 2 is learn to slow down. I need to learn to slow down when I need to learn to slow down. I need to learn to slow down when the bite calls for slowing down. And when the bite is good, I need to learn how to speed up. So that's the big decision, is deciding when to slow down and speed up during a bass tournament, especially in this magnitude. Those are probably the biggest 2 lessons I've learned from this West Coast Championship. And this might be common sense to you guys, to professionals out there, but it's the absolute truth. My mistakes that I learned from, that I will learn from, is to slow down when I'm fishing too fast and the bite absolutely sucks, and lower my expectations. Because one little small bump in the road through my journey of bass fishing could mean me just calling it quits. And that's actually a valuable lesson after West Coast Championship at Clear Lake. But also, if you aren't following this angler, his name is Matty Wong, and he's fishing the Bassmaster Elites. He won last year's TNT Bass Nation Championship, and he's living the dream. But one of his mottos, or one of his strategies, or his mindset, is to lower his expectations and just fish hard, because you just never know. Because it's healthier for us fishermen to go in with lower expectations and fish as hard as we can and just run with the results that we end with. Because if, like I said earlier, if we go in with high expectations, and there's a difference between high expectations and believing in yourself. If you go in with high expectations, you will I set up myself for utter failure. And if I lowered my expectations for this tournament, I probably would have had a better positive mindset afterwards. And I wouldn't be down on myself for that long weekend. This video is a little bit different. I hope you guys like it. And if you did like it, please hit that like button. Sub if kayak bass fishing is the channel for you. And comment below what you dig about this video. Anyways, I hope this strung a chord, and if it didn't, well, it's not for you. But I'll see you guys at the West Coast Championship for 2023. Peace.